The Toronto Sun 2021 will remain a seller's market. Experts say that, and I kind of agree with that based on the evidence that I see every single day. Welcome back to another webinar for real estate investment. This is 2021, January 13. We are going to have exciting webinars coming along the way during the year. I've invited many investors, many savvy investors to come and share their ideas, their strategies, and they're going to come with their inputs of what we have to do. And they're going to help us in this club to proceed and excel in our journey in real estate investment. Typically at the beginning of every webinar, I'm introducing myself, and if anyone wants to contact me later on, asking more questions, I'm open here. The phone number is 647-407-4049, and my email address is deltaland123@gmail.com. Now, as usual, I'm going to tell you the goal of this real estate investment webinar for those people who are new. The reason for this webinar is to help you to move from where we call a speculator to get a position of savvy investor. Means you are going around, you think you're investors, but you are not. And you're hoping, you're wishing, you're guessing, you're assuming, and eventually learning the next few steps going to help you to become savvy investors. And that's where you are standing on a solid ground, and that's where you can make money. So what we hear very often here and there is media, is news, friends that are talking about real estate investment. One said it's good, one said it's bad, so we don't know what we are doing unless you land on the proper planning and make a decision and go with the facts that you see. So you're not moving to the right and left, and you become a real estate investor that is a savvy investor. Now, some of the resources here is, if you go to my YouTube channel, Ashton Ekbatani, you can enjoy a lot of resources there, educational webinars and clips that I have and I put for you for the last few years. There are quizzes there on the video that you can enjoy and learn. And please subscribe to this YouTube as well. I also wrote a book on real estate investment. I have a few books, but this one is targeting real estate investment and investors, successful real estate investors. There are plenty of information in there, strategies, technique. It's very, very good for the people who like to start investing in real estate. And also it would help you if you have some experience of what to do and what not to do, and what to do to excel and go further in real estate investment. And the goal here is for all the investors to make money. There is no reason for you to get into real estate investment hoping things would happen. Nothing would happen if you don't plan for that. Now let's take a look at what's happened in 2020 and what do we have ahead of us in 2021. As usual, I am going through a lot of information here. Check the market, check the housing market, see what's going on, what direction the market went. And this is helping all the investors to prepare and go to the right direction. Here's the news I got from Now and OW, and it said 64% in December. That is the condition of the properties in the home that are moving up. We had an amazing year despite of COVID-19. Many places, many sources that I came across, they predicted that we're going to have a big crash in this market, and the housing market, even one predicted that would go down 16%. I think that was CHMC that predicted the market was going to crash big time. Nothing happened. Not only that, but the market went up. There are a few factors helping in this. One of them was the complete access to technology. There were a lot of homes that were viewed online by many buyers. We had virtual tour, and technically people putting offer on the properties without even walking to the property physically. So many things happened virtually. The other thing that people thought COVID-19 would destroy the market, and that was wrong, is the number of employment. I think the employment went up to 11, 12%, but based on some of the resources here and research, majority of people who could not work, were laid off, were not on the higher bracket of income. Many people that came back to stay home, such as people in IT sector or finances, they were all working from home full time. And as a matter of fact, is they even got extended hours working from home because of the high demand on technology. So what's happening right now, because many of, and that continues in 2021, many people are not able to go out dining or buying things. So there's a rush towards either saving their money that they cannot use because they cannot go to certain trips, or they buy certain things online. So that's why online shopping went off the roof. Now here's another news from Toronto Stories. It said Canadian believes more in the housing market than in overall economy. And this is, if you can read here, said despite the negative impact implications of COVID-19 has had on nearly every business sector, it appears the pandemic hasn't had an lasting effect on the real estate industry, as Canadians still believe in the strength of the housing market despite growing concern on our overall economy. The Toronto Sun 2021 will remain a seller's market. Experts say that, and I kind of agree with that based on the evidence that I see every single day. On the right of the screen, you can see Toronto market went up, and that was the for 2020. And 2021, they said it's going to go up for approximately 6%. This is ahead of time forecast. And the 2020 market went up actually more than 12%. I think that was 13.5%. The market went up. Now, looking at what Toronto Real Estate Board published, and this is the complete year 2020. As you can see, the orange line representing year 2020. And if you pay attention to the end of March, very much April and May, and end of May, the things start going the other way. And that April and May were kind of reaction to the market, what's going to happen. It's the end of the world. And as you remember, pandemic was everywhere. Now, beginning of June, people start coming back, said life should continue, and let's take advantage of the opportunities. And then July, August, September, October, November, December, the trend was much better than last year. And this is the sell. Now, the new listing that came up on the market, of course, April and May, people hesitating to put the house on the market, but they had certain obligations. Let's say they already purchased a property, then they have to take over. So you know what? Life continues and I have to sell my house. So let's put it in the market. It seems nothing really happening here. So the month of June start picking up. And December is coming down. That's very typical, as you can see the other year, that time of the year, some people will consider getting busy with Christmas and not selling or buying homes. Now, this is sell to new listing ratio. This is very much absorption rate. If you take a look at the previous slide, you see December is very low, means there are certain limited number of homes come up in the market, and see the result in absorption rate in December. Whatever came to the market, it's almost sold. The selling was much better than any other month. And typically this is what we see. Beginning of the year and end of the year, because the inventory is low, whatever comes, it goes. And that was a typical year again, 2020, as you can see. Almost every year, Toronto Real Estate Board announced that they are selling up to 90,000 properties. This year, surprisingly, went up to 95,000. Now, this is the average resale price Many people that I knew, they said the market is going to crash, come down to nothing. Well, April, May stayed solid. This is the price. This chart is referring to the price. So price didn't really crash in April, May, and June, July, and so on, price hold very well. Now let's take a look at the highlight in 2020. 95,151 sales were reported through Toronto Real Estate Board. That is up 8.4% compared to previous year, 2019. And year-over-year sales growth was strength in GTA and surrounding Toronto for single family homes. This scenario is a little bit different with condos. Condo market went a different direction. That condo market, I'm referring to Toronto. I'm not talking about GTA. GTA is holding the price for condo in better shape than in downtown Toronto. The average selling price reached a new record of $929,000, and that was up 13% compared to 2019. And that's amazing because despite of CHMC that predicted the market would crash and comes down 16%, as a matter of fact, I think Royal Bank and Remax were announcing that we are going to see increase in the price. Never anyone really thought it's going to go to 13%. I think some people mentioned 11% growth, but 13.5% was phenomenal. So that's what's happened for 2020. Now, after a pronounced dip in market activities between mid-March and the end of May, market condition improved dramatically in the second half of the year with multiple consecutive months of record sales and average selling price. Now, as I said, this was due to the technology that we have. Look at this one. I find this one, I think it was yesterday. This is a house, it's a townhouse that sold in Mississauga. That was yesterday. And they had 68 offers in this townhouse. It's never seen. It's unbelievable. I've seen 20, 30, but 68 offers in one townhouse. Never seen that. Now, clearly, this is giving us a clear signal that the market is a seller's market. Of course, house to house is different. Condition of the house to the other house is also different. But generally speaking, we are encountering a lot of multiple offers. And the average price range that I see for these multiple offers are reaching 1,200,000, 1,300,000. So people comfortably put a bidding offer on the property, even for that high price of 1,200,000 or 1,300,000. Anything more than that is slow down in multiple offers because not everybody's are qualified for mortgage and there are less competition up there. But this is amazing, 68 offers in one townhouse. So if you have a house, you are thinking of selling it, you're going through flip, renovations, do it fast because the market is hot. Now, let me just go back one step back to show you some information, how you can, generally speaking, know that a market is a seller market or buyer market. If you look at the new listing, if the new listing means the inventory is low in the market, that is an indication of the seller market most of the time because less inventory, but the number of buyers are still in the market. So look at the month of January last year, for instance, and look at December, the market, and now January this year, also the inventory is low. It's I think 7,000 altogether. These are the numbers of homes in GTA right now is available. I know that's going to increase very soon. Now let's get to the main topic of today's 5 pillars of success in real estate investment in 2021. Now these are the 5 fundamental that you can have it all the time, but mostly in this year, you have to make sure you have these 5 pillars. These are the things that anyone need. And if you are a new investor or you have some experience, this would apply to you as well. This is what I'm sharing with you. This is collective information from different resources actually. Now, of course, the very first one here is make a plan, have a goal, and have a why. Let me start from backward. Have a why. If you don't have a big why you are thinking of real estate investment, then putting a plan doesn't make sense. I came across this great book called Start with Why by Simon Sinek. It's a great book. I strongly suggest you to read it. It's easy read, and it's basically talking about how it's important for you to have a big why. For instance, I want my kids' education. I want my son or my daughter to go to Harvard. For that reason, I need a certain amount of money in, let's say, 15 years. That is a big why for you. Or I like to be retired at age 65 or 55, and that's a big why. Now, once you have your why, and you can have more than one or two whys, and this why can also change or add every few years. So you don't need to have three big whys and stick with it for the rest of your life. You can adjust, you can add, you can remove based on how far you are in your process. Now, once you have your why, you have to have a goal. Let's say if you want to buy a multiplex in 6 years. Now, this is your why, and the goal for you here is to educate yourself and go toward that direction to get to multiplex in 6 years, and have a plan for that. Having a plan means you break down your steps, what you want to do next, and put a timeline in there. Otherwise, without timeline, it doesn't work. So see the end result, how investment can financially help you. How many homes do you need to get for you to get there, and how long does it take? How to find your money, what kind of investment which would get you there. Number 2, stay educated. As someone said, education is very important. If you don't know what you're doing, you better don't do that, because mostly talking about real estate investment, we're talking about a lot of money here. You're not buying a furniture today and you need to learn, know what kind of furniture you're buying. Well, if it doesn't work, then you get real furniture. Buying a property is a big step. It has its own pitfalls if you don't pay attention, and those pitfalls might cost you a lot of money, and you don't want to get hurt at that end. So why don't you invest this time and certain amount of money to educate yourself first before you get into real estate investment. So if you're at the beginning of your investment, or even if you are, you have experience for the last few years of how to do real estate investment, maybe you purchased 1 or 2 or 3, or you're watching some other people, or you are joint venturing with someone, still education is very important, and it's not dated. There are new changes happening in every single society, or in every single day, that you have to know what you're doing. The trend of the market might change. If you move to a new neighborhood, let's say you move to Montreal or you move to Dallas, the environment, the city is different in that area. So your education that was good for Toronto might not necessarily be ideal for Montreal or Vancouver. So you have to study the market, you have to know your environment, you have to know the rules and the laws happening there, you have to know the city. There are many things. And real estate investment, it has its own fundamental that you have to know. For instance, location is one of the fundamental of real estate investment. Transportation is another one. So the demand is another one. So these are the foundation that you need to learn. Now, once you learn, it's always good, and I recommend it, to have a mentor that can hold your hand. I put 10 characteristics of a good mentor. I'm going to go through that very quickly. Number 1 is challenges you. 2 is experienced. Of course, someone who is holding your hand should have experience in real estate investment, himself purchased and sold many. Is where you want to be and support you, is a great listener, is invested in your success. So a mentor really should care for you and make sure you don't fall into any pitfalls, can stop you right there. And you have to open to your mentor. You have to discuss and have your conversation, discuss the strategy you want to use, double check what he thinks. He has to guide you towards the answer, provide consecutive feedback, respects you, and is always available to help you. So I can put a lot of emphasis in having a mentor, someone that can help you. And the role of coach and the role of a mentor, these are different. So you really have to take the steps at a time, one step at a time. Now, there are a few books that I recommend you to read. Real Estate Investing in Canada is written by Don R. Campbell. He's one of the founder of REIN Canada, Real Estate Investment in Canada. This book is another fundamental, is amazing. They had a system called acres, and it's full of good information for you. Now, the other book is also another fundamental. If you're new into real estate investment and you want to encourage yourself, you all need encouragement. Read that book by Rich Dad Poor Dad. Is his story and his contact with his father and the father of his friend. And it's very interacting and interesting book. Now, I also wrote this book, Successful Real Estate Investors. And what we have there, I put different strategy to help you not only find the property that you're looking for, but how to make sure you make money with that property and the pitfalls, what you should not, never ever do if you want to be successful in real estate investment for long term. Number 3, find your niche. What do I mean by that one? You cannot apply one rule to real estate investment and go anywhere you want and apply that same rule. For instance, the project Burr might not be the best project that you can apply to downtown Toronto because of the price. If you go to other cities such as Hamilton, it might be an ideal project, or St. Catherine, or different smaller area, Cambridge. Burr is reference to BRRR, means buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat the same thing. So once you buy a property that needs repair, then after you estimate and everything, you go through renovation for that house, then you rent it, and based on the rent that you collect, based on the improvement you've done to the property, you have to go to the bank and refinance it. Use that refinance to buy another property. So that's where the repeat is coming from. Now, renovation, flipping is another niche. So you go to a neighborhood, you said your expertise is home renovation and flipping. So you look for those kind of homes that really need renovation, and then you build it within a month to 3 months, and then you flip it, you put it back to the market to sell. Now, this can happen to different neighborhood, but as I said, not everything works for everywhere. You really have to know what you're doing. And I strongly suggest you to stay with 1 or 2 of these projects. And another one is buy and hold. Means basically you buy a house that is in good shape, is rentable, is rented well, and the rent is break even, or you make positive cash flow, and you repeat that in on and on and on. Another one is wholesale. Wholesale is a word that is referred to by many as assignment. Assignment means you knock at certain doors and you said, sir, I want to sell your house. I buy your house, not myself, but I kind of flip it to someone else. So you assign the ownership of that house to a third party. Let me give you an example. You go see a property, you ask the owner how much you're selling it. Let's say the owner said $400,000, and you know this home can easily be sold for $450,000, $470,000, or $500,000, but people, they don't know that this beautiful house exists and they are looking for it, but you found it. So you write an agreement with the owner that you are buying it, but they also give you the right to assign it to another person if you want to. So based on that assignment right that you have, you go and flip it, and I've seen that in the past as well. This assignment is also and casually is used these days with pre-construction. So anytime you want to buy a pre-construction home or builder or apartment, you hear that word again, assignment. Means technically if you find someone, they can take over your purchase at that time. Now, of course, take action, make your team. Let me start from the last part of it, make your team. So let's say you have a plan, you are well educated, you know exactly what to do, you have your mentors holding your hand, you find your expertise or your desire, you know what you want to do. In my case, it was buy and hold. I was not after flipping, and I was not after bear, and I was not after wholesales or assignments. So I liked the comfort that I would get in buy and hold. So once I know that direction, what I need are the people who are helping me in that journey. Means a good lawyer who's familiar with techniques and strategy, laws and rule and regulation with investment properties. Now I need my real estate investor, real estate agent who is familiar with different neighborhoods, different kind of homes, is familiar with the growth and the market trend for real estate investment property. I 100% suggest you to talk to someone, a real estate agent, who is also investing and who has experience doing it all the time, because that person can save a lot of headache for you. Home inspector is important, and mortgage broker that is familiar with investment, that's crucial as well, because they, most if you, this is your second home, they are using different loopholes that might come handy and can help you as well. So you get at this stage, no matter what you've done before, even if you have your team, you have to take action at this point. It's like learning swimming pool and standing outside of the pool, and you're trying to learn how to swim. Until you don't jump into the swimming pool, you don't really feel the heat. You really don't know what you're doing. But once you jump into the swimming pool, it's much, much easier for you. And lastly, it's focus. Learn, evaluate, and continue. You have to focus in what you do. As I said originally, there are a lot of noises around, or you will not be successful. Listen, at 4 o'clock morning, the tenant would call you, the kitchen, something happened, and those kind of things. So don't be afraid of those up and down. The reward for you is greater than those small hiccups or challenges. You learn as much as you could. You focus in your learning. If you dedicate 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day to learn different techniques, and even you talk to your mentor or your coach, that's important. Now, then you go evaluate the property, you evaluate the market, you evaluate the approach you want to do into the real estate, and you continue. Remember, in all of this, for you to not get cold and let it go, is to associate yourself and hang around with like-minded people. It's crucial for you to get encouragement all the time. It's always crucial to have a conversation regarding real estate investment, the market trend and what's going on. It's very important for you to be part of any club, any real estate club. So you are very close to the hit, and that's what you want to do. And then continue. So that was the 5 pillars of success in 2021 for all of us. Now I prepared some questions that I'm going to answer on your behalf. If you have any questions, just feel free to either come up and ask the question, or you can ask your question by putting it on the chat box here. All right, so I'm going to answer the first question. Where should I start? That's a very fundamental question. where, let's say this is my first time, I'm very interested in real estate investment. The first thing I should do is to get encouragement, get confirmation of my action. At the end of the day, is it the right thing I'm doing or not? That was my question when I started. Should I get into real estate, not real estate investment, but stock market? Is it the right thing for me to do? Am I doing the right thing? So you want to get a solid confirmation that you are walking on the right path. And if you read one of this, I can say the second book of Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, it calls Who Took My Money. That's a great book I suggest you to read. It's talking about the stock market, and it's also talking about properties and how tangible they are. So where should I start? Start by some affirmation that you are walking in the right path, and then getting to your big why. But you have to have a firm belief in real estate investment as the right vehicle for you to get to your destination. So that's where you have to start. And next question, what about if I make mistake? Well, mistake is part of life. The whole reason for you to get yourself educated and hang around and like-minded people and have a mentor here is to reduce the amount of mistakes, because mistakes in real estate are expensive, and once it's done, it's kind of late for you to step back. So if you burn on your first deal, it's very, very hard for you to convince yourself to get into the second one. So what about if you make a mistake? Well, hang around the right-minded people, get information, get yourself educated. Small mistakes can happen, but look at the big picture, look at the direction you want to go, look at your big why, and get encouraged. If you burn for any reason, you lose money, but you still have faith in this direction, then give yourself a little bit time to cool off, relax, rethink, re-energize yourself, and get back to the market and go for the best. Sometimes you have a big hesitation, then I encourage you to find a joint venture partner who is a savvy investor, who has done that a lot in the past, and get a small share of your profit, but at least you are on the solid ground. Or sometimes I've seen the new beginners, they do joint venture because they need someone to hold their hands and walk with them. And that I encourage as well. The third question is where and what to invest. This is a big question, and I answer this question exactly in my book that you can purchase in Amazon.com. Where should I invest? First of all, depends what you want, what direction you want to go, and what you are comfortable to do. Some people, they are handyman, they want to do renovation. So that's the direction they want to do. And the city you want to go is very much basically goes back to the amount of activities that city is. Let's say St. Catherine, Niagara, I know a lot of retirees are heading that direction. Bradford is good because there's college in there. Aurora is also another solid city that you may consider. There's a college there. You have to open up the map and take a look at the price range, take a look at the demographic and the kind of people living in that area. Some area requires a finished illegal basement for you to have, and certain areas you can make a duplex. So you're converting a property, a single home, to a duplex or triplex, and the city is okay for that. So where to start? You start by looking at available opportunity, looking at your budget, the direction you want to go, and what to invest is based on, let's say, what you see in the city of Aurora is great. You see the city is growing. You see the city has budget for new development. You see there's encouragement for people to come there, and you see some properties can be easily rented there. So that area is growing area, and that's where you choose to go. Now, I strongly suggest you to drive by the neighborhood, to go see some properties that are for sale, just get the feeling of it. And then once you set your mind into, let's say, Aurora, then you are checking for the city to see what is the hot deal in there. If it's a if it's renovation, adding a finished basement, or adding a third or fourth room into the property, that could be the case. If you see the properties are very low and you can buy a good bargain there, and there's a huge demand for rental, I will buy and hold it. I will buy the property and hold it for 3 to 5 years, and then pull the money out of it and buy the next one. So it depends to which city you want to go. But as I said, do not apply one technique to all the cities. So that's what you have to do at that end. If there's no more question, then we come to the end of this 2021 webinar. Welcome back again for those of you who could make it. By the way, next week we're going to have an excellent speakers coming, and is going to talk about how we can prepare our goal for and planning for this coming year 2021. He is one of the very high speaker in North America. He went through seminars, and before COVID-19, he was on the stage all the time. So I'm going to send you an invitation for those of you who are interested. I strongly suggest you to attend that for next week. I wish you all the best, and thank you, and wish you a great year ahead of you, a lot of investment, and go make money.